took a deal, signed another deal. Post up in the hills on the real, headed for a mill. Travel with me still, getting kills. All this pop appeal, got these pop stars try popping in, and they getting pop for real. I ain't tryna build, I was tryna lead a meal. Getting to it, before I hopped up off the block, I was still going through it. Friends doing pills, and came faster than it should've. I was Buddy Hill, shooting at a pace soon as I pull up, dropping buckets. Yeah, like it's nothing. In the kitchen chopping onions. Yeah, tears falling down. Underdog is finally overcoming. Cause I'm dropping buckets. Hey, yeah, like it's nothing. Hey, earn my respect and burn a budget. Hey, tears falling down. Underdog is finally overcoming, baby. Yeah, I'm dropping buckets. Drop some cash for me, don't worry about my past for me. I'm driving with no gasoline, this life I live's a fantasy. Yeah, I do this for my dogs, all my day ones and my family. My life gon' live through them if I end up in any tragedies. I hope y'all understand this shit got bigger cause it had to be. I always knew I had it, but just not at this capacity. I recognize the gravity, closer to the summit, stacking chips and counting nuggets. I've been stunting, baby, cause I'm dropping buckets. Hey, yeah, like it's nothing. Hey, in the kitchen chopping onions. Hey, tears falling down. Underdog is finally overcoming. Cause I'm dropping buckets. Hey, yeah, like it's nothing. Hey, earn my respect and burn a budget. Hey, tears falling down. Underdog is finally overcoming, baby. Cause I'm dropping buckets. Earn my respect and burn a budget. Tears falling down. Underdog is finally overcoming, baby, cause I'm dropping buckets.
Been plenty time that I could've died. Lucky Sonny Slim got 100 lives. Knock the rings out and I'ma fit my pinky with it. Fuck a Jada Pinkett, I get jiggy with it. You with it, then we can get it going. Talking big shit and you just a semi-colon head of the state, and I cannot be demoted. I put his head on the stake and make him hold it 2 out the meter. Can't say too many ways that I need her. It's a bread on the plate, she a eater. Needs a bread on the plate for the feature. I'm a beast, look boy, I'm a creature. Ain't no money to make for me being tame. Before I tell on myself I'm a plea insane. There's some folks in here with me, yo, keep it chain, and I swear. They keep talking all around my head, I hear it all day. I hope nobody don't tell the end alright. Cause I'ma send in the hell and then y'all wait. Gon' probably send me to hell, I need peace sign. For my shoulder, devils on east side. Now who's stronger, man, I'm getting deep fried. But I'm colder than a white polar until I'm over. Trying to stay woke in a high full of sleepers. I can leave earth anytime, no allegiance. Fuck all these hoes on that line too egregious. Had to be real one time for the region. I cannot get peace someday. Or just a little sleep someday. I know we gon' eat someday. And if the time divine, it won't be too late. Now it's a balance I've been trying to figure. In and out at times in my little feelings. My Valentine ain't want no dealings. And I can't blame you about that really. Cause ain't too much stable going on. Ain't nobody to say you on your own. I done took out a page from Rolling Stones. Advice might short the days and write the songs. Meanwhile I'll engage in other things. Dazing off the other dreams. Another page, another ream. And I still can't explain just what I see. Maybe I went made to walk, the wings fell off. And now I'm trapped inside the thought. They birthed the flaw. Glad they brought the church to talk. Cause I need something to believe in. So make me believe. They keep talking all around my head, I hear it all day. I hope nobody don't tell the end alright. Cause I'ma send in the hell and then y'all wait. Gon' probably send me to hell, I need peace sign. For my shoulder, devils on east side. Now who's stronger, man, I'm getting deep fried. But I'm colder than a white polar until I'm over. Trying to stay.
Riverside seats doing ethnic cleansing.
All right, check me now. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me now. Testing on the mic. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me now. Yes. Okay. All right. Didn't have anyone in the background. Check me out. So you got it to work. Outstanding. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Melanie. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. All right. So we'll try it again. Welcome to the first edition of the Stand on Business podcast of 2025. And I've been gone for quite some time. All right. Listen, let's catch you up a little bit. And this is why I titled it for this week of Let's Talk, Family. Let's talk a little bit. All right. I hope everyone had a wonderful ending of the year. Happy New Year to everybody. Okay. What's going on? Okay. And just a quick question. What the fuck is going on in the damn world? Okay. All right. So let's talk. Just for a second, let's talk. Okay. All right. So let's catch you up. So cold on the damn east and fucking fires on the damn west. Okay. 1, 2, politics. Okay. What happened to that in America? Okay. And what happened to that as far as conversations? Okay. We're gonna chat about that just slightly or briefly. And then as far as recent talks as of late, I'm going to circle back around to a conversation that we had way back on my debut show. Is America ready for a theocracy? And I feel like it's a poignant conversation for what the hell is going on as of recently, and what I kind of sort of foresaw or foreshadowed to be a topic of conversation as of recently, and what's potentially something that we might need to redress, bring back to the forefront, and just let's have a real conversation, and kind of just maybe even foreshadow what I might start delving into as of new topics of conversation, maybe even new series on this particular segment here. Okay, but first, I just want to talk. Okay, so as you guys may not know, reason why I've been gone for a while is because I've been sick. I caught something. I have no idea what it is I caught, but it took me out. Flu-like symptoms for a little bit, and then I thought I was on the mend, and then all of a sudden bronchitis came in and took me out for a few. So I have been recovering for the past 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks now, and so I'm here now and trying to get back on my feet and trying to get back into the groove of things. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, we have the possibility of maybe not TikTok going away, coming back. Who knows? Watching that in the Supreme Court as well. That's an interesting conversation. But that's kind of what's going on with me, boss man. Okay. So I'm here and I want to just have a genuine conversation. All right. Not too many people currently in the queue, but I do. Thank you, Milani. I appreciate it. Still got some things going on in the chest region here, but hey, it's all right. I'm actually able to look at you, okay, and not feel like I'm getting ready to hack up anything. So that is a start. Okay, that is a very good start. So appreciate it. Thank you for the well wishes. All right. So here we go. Let's start with recent conversations of politics, just for a brief moment. I noticed that no one, as of recently, has been talking about it. And I'm befuddled as to why. Agent Orange is getting ready to be inaugurated. And here's what happened recently. Okay. This is going to be a free form conversation tonight. I don't have anything structured at the very moment, which is very different for me. As you can tell, I'm kind of disheveled for the moment. It's been a day. It's been a week. It's a lot's going on. So here we go. January 6th happened. And literally, I looked at my phone on January 7th and I said, I actually unplugged from anything social media for quite some time because I was sick. Didn't feel like it. And I plugged in and I looked and I was like, damn, January 6th actually happened. Wait, it happened. Nothing happened? Nothing occurred? Interesting. I wonder why nothing actually occurred. Because maybe there wasn't some sore ass loser who just wasn't sore that he lost. Just maybe. 45 presidents. 45 inaugurations happened and nothing occurred. But we get to the 46th inauguration and then there's a problem. I wonder why. I'm sorry, not inauguration rather, but certification rather. And then all of a sudden there's a problem. And then we get to the 47th and then, whoops, nothing. It was unremarkable, as these things honestly should be. Hey, salute, What We Know podcast. Good to see you, JT. And I wonder why. Coincidence? Nah. Nothing. Literally, I looked at it as January 7th and I'm like, damn, January 6th actually happened and nothing happened? Amazing. Coincidence? I don't know. Just a thought. Just a fucking thought. Just a thought. Just saying. All right. So anyway, that happened. And the Tanner in Chief is on his way in. And here's what I'm going to say to that. Okay? Here's what I'm going to say to that. And as I promised that I would say on live, on recording, when he won, is that I hope that as just for anybody who's in that chair in the Oval Office with the ability to make or break the country is that I hope for the best. And I hope that the decisions that he makes I hope that we all are able to benefit from the decisions that he makes. And able to move forward from the issues that the issues that occurred. I hope we're able to do so, for better or worse. And of course, there are issues that are going to arise. Already, there's the Arizona State Supreme Court that's now getting ready to look at the Jack Smith issues, the Jack Smith evidence, of course. But for the most part, my overall hope is that something good comes out of the presidency, and that's my hope for generally all presidents. Okay, left, right, center, or indifferent. Okay, so that's my hope. That's my aspiration. That is my overall feeling about the entire thing. Okay. Now, that's it for the most part about politics. But however, we'll be watching everything, and as we kind of are seeing with some of the political parties, especially on the right side, we're kind of seeing some of the same issues that we saw before to some degree. But in this case, we have a fear, looking at it objectively, we have a fear of oligarchical matters coming abroad. Now, I don't know. I was expecting theocratic matters to come to be. But I wasn't expecting oligarchical issues to come to be. That I was not expecting. So then I have to ask the question to society. How does society feel about oligarchy? Well, to some degree, we've been sort of subjected to oligarchy to some degree. It's been covert, not necessarily overt, as we might see maybe in Russia or other countries, like maybe China to some degree. But here, it's not as overt, but it's been there to some degree. Those with power, those with money, obviously have power. Those with money have influence. We know that. Maybe it's not so in your face, but we know that. And if you don't know that, I don't know where you've been. Okay, I really don't. But it's never been so politically in your face. Okay, it's never really been there in your face. Here we have people with power, people with money, and of course, synonymously, money equals power, right there in Congress, right there in your face. So I have to pose the question. I didn't write it in the banner here, but I have to pose the question to the chat and those who are here. This is a real question, not facetiously, but this is really objectively thinking. How do we feel about upfront, in your face? How do you like it? Okay, oligarchy. That's a Jala silver ring. Gotcha. I got it. How do we feel about oligarchy? These are between a theocratic oligarchy or maybe a oligarchical theocracy. Hey, Mr. Bennett, good to see you, sir. Salute to you. Okay, how do we feel about it? People with money being elevated to some semblance of power control that is resolute with political levers of power. Let's talk, family. How does that ring? Because to me, they are unelected. They are unassigned. They do not have representation. In our in our democratic republic, funny enough, sidebar, I do have a TikTok page, and I have about roughly about 600, almost 700 followers over there on TikTok now. And I posted my clip of my theocracy video, part 1, and someone literally wanted to argue with me that we did not have a democratic republic. Now, I think this person wanted to just argue with me that I was saying that we had a democracy. We don't have a damn democracy. Never in there in my clip, nowhere in my first debut video that was riddled with technical difficulties did I say that we had a democracy. I stated that we had a democratic republic. Republic being the categorical kind of sort of descriptor, and the democratic portion was the vehicle. It was the modality for which we utilize our republic. Okay, that was how I phrase it. That was my phraseology. That was that was how I basically plugged it in for the most part. And he wanted to argue with me in my comments, saying, find somewhere in the Constitution where we have a where it says democracy and I'll pay you. And I'm like, keep your money, because nowhere in the Constitution, nowhere in the DOI, Declaration of Independence, nowhere in the Bill of Rights, nowhere in the founding documents does it state democracy. Damn it, we have a republic. I even stated it. It's a democratic type republic. So, back to the point. In our democratic republic, the people of Doge, they're not deducted. And the president doesn't have the ability to create new agencies, new departments without Congress. He can create new bureaus within a department, but he cannot create new departments, new agencies. So how do we feel? I'm getting no answers here from what I can tell. And I don't know if that's because we don't know the answer to the question. We don't know how we feel about the question. We don't want to answer the question at all. So here's another question. I don't want to be presumptive. Are we sure? Do we know what an oligarchy is? Because in that case, I may have to present what an oligarchy necessarily is per se. Because in a sense, America technically functions almost like an oligarchy to some degree. Because think about it. We have a democratic republic system that is supposed to be ran for and by for and by the people. Okay. And the people are supposed to, and the representatives are supposed to serve the people, right? But we have this situation where money rules everything for the most part. Okay. So watch this. What typically certain bills, certain efforts, bills, statutes, whatever the case may be, not statutes rather, because statutes are after bills. So certain bills get introduced into Congress. And yes, without those people, those representatives, those senators voting on them, they don't become laws, but they don't become statutes, and then they don't become laws, and so on and so forth. Well, laws, then statutes. Okay, hold on, Mr. Bennett. I'm on a thought, but I'll read in just 1 second. So then what happens is we have lobbyists. Okay. those lobbyists, there we go, Mr. Bennett. Come on now. Citizens United. All right. There we go. All right. So then what happens is we have lobbyists who are paid to lobby those senators, congressmen, congresspeople. Okay. So that's a money effort right there. Then all year long, well, throughout the terms of either the representatives or the senators, they're constantly needing money to run their campaigns, fund their offices, so on and so forth. Yeah, they're constantly pegging us, the little guys, but they're needing the donors, the big money interests. So the bills that we see the cliff notes on, yeah, it may serve our interest, but it's those earmarks that we don't necessarily see and pay attention to that actually are beneficial to those who serve, that might actually serve the big money interests, this, super PACs or the, corporations or, rich folks or whoever. That is who controls the actual individual representatives. And so if I was a representative and I had to make a decision as to which bill to vote yay or nay on, would it be the constituents who necessarily I have to actually reach out to the most to be able to get maybe what, 0.01% of my entire budget? Or maybe that one or two mega donors who could give me 25 to 50% of my budget? Is it then really of and for and by the people at that point? It's really then just paying attention to the people or the companies or the interests that really have the ability to pay me the most money, which is why it's probably a good idea to get money out of politics, right? So then we're dealing with a situation of what? Oligarchical rule anyway, wouldn't you suggest? Now, Mr. Bennett says, it boils down to competence and the reason why they are put into power. Yes. But then let's drill down even further. Who put them into power relative to how much money was thrown at them and where and the source of the money? And then he says the next part. Citizens United fundamentally changed politics in the U.S. and that right there, drop the mic. Perfect. Citizens United, essentially, to coin this, to really button this point up right here, Citizens United essentially did two things. One, it allowed for money from corporations or mega donors or whoever to essentially be thrown at candidates or just politicians in general and the Supreme Court actually, without necessarily being able to be identified. But it did one other crucial thing. It allows these businesses to have a voice almost like a voter. It allows a business to act politically and within the political sphere, kind of like a citizen, actually, in all honesty. And in what instance does a business entity have a vote? It does if it has money, actually. Now, you could argue that because it has a TIN, a tax identification number, within the Corporation of America, you could argue that I have a TIN, you have a TIN, then the corporation have a TIN, then it could vote, right? Then how does a business vote? in the same way that we could vote, I guess, right? By our money, right? That's how Citizens United looks at it. In a nutshell. Paul, you can tell me if I'm incorrect there, but that's the two, I would say, insidious things that Citizens United does. Salute to you, sir. Welcome in. All right. We're talking about oligarchy. And how does America feel about the potentiality of progressing forward to oligarchy? Because that's what we're looking at right now. Potentially. Well, I'm just going to say potentially. Potentially. It's a potentiality that we are ostensibly looking towards oligarchy, where it's not just covert oligarchy, but literally right there in your face, overt oligarchy. How do you like that? Right? Then, and mind you, this was something that was mentioned in that lovely little book that everyone loved to say wasn't going to be a problem. I don't know, Project 2025. I don't know. Yeah, nah. Fear mongering. Nah. Okay. Next thing, theocracy. Okay. Now, let's talk, family. Let's talk. Theocracy. Now, I was going to mention this, and I talked to BMU. Oh, I don't have a banner here. Let's fix that. So, first of all, make sure you support the fam. All right. Now, next thing, theocracy. All right. So I had talked to BMU. I think it was a week and a half ago. I was still sick, and I had told him that I was going to touch on this topic anyway to kind of button up my my first video, my debut video relative to theocracy. And then lo and behold, this topic keeps coming up, whether it be on TikTok, whether it be here, it just keeps coming up about a religious state. And I wonder why. Why? Where's my guy? Is he still here? The guy that does this guy.
Why? Why?
If when I mentioned it, and every time I mention it on a panel about the possibility of America, of certain people potentially on the right side of the bird of America, every time I mentioned it, oh, you're just fear mongering, boss man. You know, you people, you Democrats just keep fear mongering and da 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 da, right? Right? And now all of a sudden, we're literally trying to fucking justify the shit.
Why?
Why are we trying to justify it? If before I wasn't fear mongering about it, if people like me wasn't fear mongering about it, and now all of a sudden we're trying to fucking justify the shit. I'm lost. Well, here we go. I'm literally lost. Shaking my damn head. Lost. Because now we're in a situation where it's not fear-mongering. It's literally creeping up on us, where it's being foisted upon us in some form of fashion. And now we're forced to talk about it. And now we're scrambling saying, well, you know what? Maybe it's not such a bad idea after all. And now you're forced to fucking talk about it. To the point to the point, and I want you to know that what you're seeing right now is not anger. It's fucking passion. Because I was right. To the point where what I listened to and what I'm hearing in multiple spaces is let's make America Rome. 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 Where as long as you acknowledge that our God is the supreme being, you can worship whoever you want to worship again. Or you can worship whoever you want to worship as long as you acknowledge that our God is the supreme one. That sounds like Rome. Now, if you want to acknowledge that there is a Roman fasci sitting right behind the congressional dais in the House of Representatives, and we're already like Rome anyway, then by all means. By all fucking means, go right ahead. If you want to acknowledge that we don't do business in the House of Representatives without the Queen's scepter in our House of Representatives anyway, then go right ahead. If you want to acknowledge that none of our presidents, any of our presidents, hasn't completed a term without going to bow the head to the crown of England, then go right ahead. But otherwise, it sounds like Rome to me. And to say that this country started out post Declaration of Independence, started out Christian with the intent of being a nation, a Christian state or a religious state, it blows in the face of just what was written. It's completely antithetical to what was written. It sounds like we need to read it. And if that means I need to pull the documents up and read it, then by all means, I'll be happy to oblige and read it. Because the Declaration of Independence is a good read. I'm gonna tell you something. The crown was scandalous. Okay. When I say the crown, I'm talking about the king. The crown was scandalous. Okay. But what y'all don't know, or what people seem to not recognize, is that the crown was not just a monarchy. The crown was also a theocracy. Because the crown created its own church called the Church of England, which is still standing today. It created a Church of England. Why was the Church of England created? Oh, I don't know, because King Henry VII initiated the English Reformation from Rome. Why? Because the damn Pope didn't want to give him a damn divorce from his wife, because his wife wouldn't give him, wasn't capable of giving him a son. And congratulations, that's where you get your damn King James Bible from, because the motherfucker couldn't get a goddamn divorce. You're welcome. Outstanding history from where the Bible of 1611 came from. So upon the DOI, the Declaration of Independence, they wanted to separate themselves from a monarch and a theocracy. Don't worry. I'll take a moment after I read a couple of comments and show you. For the people who seem to think that this nation started as a fucking nation that was Christian, it wasn't, folks. Never was. And when people tried it, what did they do? They pushed back. Even though they may have been Christian, they may have been whatever the case may be. Hell, they may have been damn Masons for all we knew. The point is that they tried to circle back around the old methods of ways of old, and they said no. And the First Amendment said that the nation will never establish a religion or preferentialize a religion. So my point is that if we're wanting to have a religious state, fine, say that you want one. But don't justify what you want by saying that it should have already been one. And by the way, just for shit and giggles, every nation that has ever existed that has been led by some type of religious authority, how many of them are still standing today? Don't worry, I'll wait. I'll show you. I'll gladly show you. That's how many. Take a look. Kings, queens, lords, whatever the case may be, the world was filled to the brim of people of nations who were led by some god, some monarch who was worshipped as a god even in Rome. And look how many are fucking highlighted. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's even missing the one in fucking Italy. I guess they didn't think the Pope was goddamn important. Right? Let's talk, family. Let's talk. Out of the 3 big religions, Christianity is the youngest one, and Christianity is one of the most lethal religions of them all, and is responsible for the death of millions of people. Burning children, women, men at the stake simply because motherfuckers didn't agree with them. Crusades where it was just nice. Okay, respectfully, Islam is the youngest of the monotheistic religions. Great. Are we sure that Christianity is monotheistic? But okay, we'll go with that. I have contention with Christianity in the thought process that it is monotheistic. Because if we believe in God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit, that sounds like polytheism to me, but I understand the concept. So yes, if Islam came after Christianity, which I don't think it did, but you may be onto something, because if it is true, there's a theory out there that Rome or the Pope was responsible for the creation of Islam, then yes, Islam is after Christianity. So then yes, you would be correct. So in that instance, I would take correction there. Five. So thank you, Mr. Bennett. Five are left. So what does that say? What does that suggest? Islam found in 16 AD or BC. Okay. Now, here's the thing about this. Emperor Constantine established Christianity. The text that Christianity is formulated from is older than the actual religion of Christianity. And this is the problem that I have. So not contending with what you're saying here, Paul. It just reminded me of something when you said Islam founded in 16 AD or BCE. A lot of people say that that Christianity started in Africa or started in Ethiopia and shit. This is like the millionth time I've heard this shit. The moniker of Christianity itself started Council of Nicaea. You can look at a text that is older than life itself, if that's even possible, right? And start a religion from that. The best example of that are all the damn denominations that there are. Do you all know how many denominations there are in America of Christianity? 200 denominations. Do you all know how many Christian denominations there are in the world? 45,000. Off of either text that was that post dates 1611 or that predates the Council of Nicaea. The point that I'm making here is that just because the text that the religion birthed from, the religion that birthed from the text, it doesn't mean that the religion existed with the text, because Jesus himself, or Yahshua himself, Yahshua Yamashiach himself, wasn't Christian. In fact, the stories that they found in Mount Sinai, those stories was about stories that happened that predate that. If we're using logic, nobody was Christian. Anybody who was Christian was after the Council of Nicaea, because that was when Christianity was created. In fact, the Protestants who didn't like what Christianity was at that point in time, they hated what the council created. The original Protestants, now I can't speak for the current Protestants, but I can tell you that the ones the Romans persecuted and erased and hunted down, they didn't like them. They didn't like what it was becoming. But let's talk about what the Romans did in that moment. And Paul, if you're still here, just for a second, I mentioned this a long time ago, that I think it was Paul who mentioned that there was I think it was an Acts. Paul mentioned a statue in his travels to the unknown God, if you recall that. In that time frame, so as long as, this is why I mentioned that this idea that America would be like Rome. In that time frame, so as long as you acknowledged the emperor as a god, you could worship whatever you wanted to worship. So as long as you included the emperor as a god at that time frame. Because at that time frame, the emperor was deified. Now, there was a statue there to the unknown God. And that statue was included in the pantheon of gods at that point in time. Now, Rome at the point in time was split. There you go. Acts 17. Right there. Rome at the point in time, if I'm recalling this correctly, Rome at the point in time was split into divisions. The Gentiles were allowed to be in these different areas so as long as they paid their taxes and respected the gods of the area, but they were allowed to also worship as they saw fit. They were considered the outsiders, but they were allowed to be there so as long as they were willing to pay and behave for the most part. The Pharisees were the opposite for the most part. Okay, the uppities. Jesus himself called the Pharisees vipers at one point. Okay. Now, in this instance, that's a situation where I'm likening this idea that America could kind of sort of be like in that type of situation. Okay. Now, Rome was split. Brood vipers. There you go. Okay, you're picking up what I'm putting down. Now, Rome was separate. Okay. Emperor Constantine was one of those emperors. There were 4 of them. The theory is that the idea was that they were brothers, but there were 4 emperors. Constantine went on a tirade and conquered all 4 sections of Rome. Because Rome wasn't that big at first. Once he conquered them, the last battle, the bigger section of the last of the 4, once he conquered the 2, he got to the 3rd one, and it was the last battle, and he saw he had a dream before the battle, and in that dream he saw a burning fiery cross in that dream. And he knew that it was, and in that dream, he got a prophecy about winning the battle and becoming powerful and so on and so forth, yada, yada. I'm paraphrasing. So before he went into battle, he had all of his knights put that cross, that red cross, on their shields. Sound familiar? Or think of that white backing with the red cross. Now, I wonder where you will recall the white and the red cross from. Just think about that. And so by doing that and invoking that cross, he won the battle. Now, after that, that was the first step. So then after that, he had all of Rome under his control. But all of Rome was worshiping all these different it was a hodgepodge of different religions happening and all these different practices and all these different things happening all at one time. Okay. So how do you get a group of people under control, but you have a weakened military because you just went through a battle? So what do? You create a religion. People. In comes a Cath idea. Catholic, meaning Cath, meaning universal. And ick, meaning ish. Okay, so Catholic religion. Okay, and so what do? Well, Jesus, or the Jesus figure that we know of, the Yahshua figure, he existed. Portions of him and the stories of him were real. But so were all the other stories that they were hearing as well, and all the other religions as well. So what do? You take bits and pieces of different religions and you bring them together. Mind you, they had just conquered different areas. What do you do when you conquer different areas and different people of different? You gather a lot of information. You gather their resources, their knowledge, their books, their. Okay. So now you have a lot of information. So what do? You conquer and you create a narrative. Now you have the Council of Nicaea. Part of that tirade that they went on was also part of the raid that they went on with Alexandria, the Library of Alexandria too. Okay, so now you have the Council of Nicaea. Now, also, Mr. Bennett, do you recall the scripture where it says that they were witness to Jesus dying on a tree? Do you recall that? I'm sorry, slewed on a tree. Do you recall that? If you don't, I can give it to you. If you're still here. There we go. Instead of names like Jacob and Yeshua, you get Joshua and Jacob, etc. Exactly. Come on, Braxton. You're right there with me. If not, give me 1 second. I will give it to you. I looked it up earlier, but I want to make sure I give it to you exactly the way it is written, because I do not want to mess this up, because this is very, very, very important. Acts 10:39. Oh, you gave me another one. I did not see 5:30, but thank you. That's another one. All right, Acts 10:39. And we are witnesses of all things which he did both in the land of the Jews and in Jerusalem, whom they slew and hanged on a tree. So in two places, thanks, Paul. I appreciate you, sir. So in two places where they mentioned where Yeshua Yamashiach was hanged on a tree. Nothing about a cross. That was a Roman adage. The cross is a constellation in our night sky, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you're probably wondering, boss man, why are we going in through this? Because I am going to spend a lot of time digging into this religion. Because if we're going to have a nation state where religion is going to be foisted upon people who didn't ask for it, because I've never gone to this extent to talk about religion on purpose, then we ought to understand this religion, and we ought to understand what we're going to be living upon and living under, and the ideas thereof, and where it all comes from. Should we not? Because we have people who seem to think that for some reason, this part where it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator. Does it say Jehovah? Does it say Buddha? Does it say Zoroaster? Does it say Abaddon? Does it say Samael? Does it say let's see, give me another one. Does it say Horus? Does it say Set? Does it say Ma'at? Does it say Mahalalel? Does it say any name? It just says their creator, which gives the impression that it could be anybody's creator. And that is the only mention of any deity, potential deity, and their creator is very ambiguous. It's not absolute at all. And if anyone disagrees with me based on that verbiage, please say so in the comments. I'm dying to see if anybody disagrees with me, because I will drop a link. And please tell me if you disagree with the Congress of July 4th, 1776, the year after my Marine Corps was established. Need to drop the tree versus stake versus cross. It gets into the weeds for me. Either way, the material was made of wood. Good topic. And again, I do not support religious state as a Christian. Oh, do you want to come up, Mr. Bennett? Oh, so you need to drop. I mean, you need to go. Okay, sure. Hey, no problem. I heard you the other night, and I appreciate your take on things. Love to continue the conversation with you another time. I appreciate you being here, sir. Misunderstood you. Their creator means that it could be anybody's creator, and that creator could be any creator, any god. So for a nation to establish a religion, you would have to then establish a particular god. Sorry. And until this shit here is changed, I don't give a shit. I really don't. Let's talk, family. I don't give a shit. I don't. And I'm not angry. I'm passionate. I warned about this. And I was told in some form of fashion that I was fear-mongering, that I had nothing to worry about. That what we might see in Project 2025, that component was not to be worried about. Really? I don't even need to bring up any clips of anybody, because y'all know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. Y'all do. We are really willing to ignore this. We are willing to ignore. Hang on. Because I want to show you where to go. Hang on. I'm going to find. There we go. Thomas Jefferson. American people which declared that their legislature should make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, thus building a wall of separation between church and state, adhering to this expression of the supreme will of the nation in behalf of the rights of consciousness. I shall see with sincere satisfaction the progress of those sentiments which tend to restore to man all his natural rights, convinced he has no natural right in opposition of his social duties. Boss man, what was that in response to? That was in response to the Danbury Baptist Association. And what they were trying to do was trying to justify establishing church over legislatures, essentially. Read yourself. Danbury letters. Just saying. I'll scroll down so it can be recorded so you can see it. And may the Lord preserve you safe from every evil and bring you at last to his heavenly kingdom through Jesus Christ, our glorious mediator. Sir, we are sensible that the President of the United States is not the national legislator, and also sensible that the national government cannot destroy the laws of each state. But our hopes are strong that the sentiments of our beloved president, which have had such genial effect already, like the radiant beams of the sun, will shine and prevail through all the states and all the world till hierarchy and tyranny be destroyed from earth, sir. Who does that sound like? Okay, anyway, when we reflect on your past services and see the glow of philanthropy and goodwill shining forth in a course of more than 30 years, we have a reason to believe that America's God has raised you up to fill the chair of state out of that good, which which he bears to the millions which you preside over. Didn't know a president presides over people. Whatever. May God strengthen you for your arduous task, which providence and the voice of the people have called. That's an interesting way of saying called. You to sustain and support you in your administration against all the predetermined opposition of those who wish to rise to wealth and importance on the poverty and subjection of the people. Now, what was he trying to do? Right here. Our sentiments are uniformly on the side of religious liberty. That religion is at all times and places a matter between God and individuals, that no man ought to suffer in name, person, or effects on account of his religious opinions, that the legitimate power of civil government extends no further than to punish the man who works ill to his neighbor. But, sir, our constitution of government is not specific. Our ancient charter, together with the laws made coincident therewith, were adopted on the basis of our government at the time of our revolution. And such had been our laws and usages, and such still are, that religion is considered as the first object of legislation. So he's saying that religion should be first and legislation should be second. paramount to legislation, and therefore that religious privileges we enjoy as a minor part of the state, we enjoy as favors granted and not as inalienable rights. And these favors we receive at the expense of such degrading acknowledgments as are inconsistent with the rights of freemen, of free men. Did we catch that? So, in other words, the inalienable rights provided by the Bill of Rights are favors. They're secondary to what is supposed to be paramount do's and don'ts, shall and shalls, shall and shall nots, thou shalt and thou shalt not, written in the Bible. Essentially, it is not to be wondered at, therefore, if those who seek after power and gain under the pretense of government and religion should reproach their fellow men. Read it again. Catch it again. It's not to be wondered at, therefore, if those who seek after power and gain under the pretense of government and religion should reproach their fellow men, should reproach their chief magistrate as an enemy of religion, law, and good order, because he will not dare not assume the prerogatives of Jehovah and make laws to govern the kingdom of Christ. So essentially, if you take someone who is a magistrate or who has prominence within the legal system, and you marry that to the religiosity or the religious position, like a bishop or a cardinal, and you give them religious power, or you take someone who has religious power and you give them that political might, they wouldn't dare reproach that person. Because if you say that a magistrate has the prerogatives of Jehovah, they wouldn't dare reproach that person. They wouldn't dare question the authority that that person has. You get it? See? That's like saying, if you take the president and you say he is imbued, my little crown right here, he's imbued, ordained by God to be there. He's the savior. You'll never have to vote again. Why? Because God has ordained that person to be there. He's beyond reproach. Does that sound familiar? Come on, somebody. Come on. Help me out. Come on, somebody. Am I making sense? Am I drawing some connections here? Does that not sound like some shit that we're hearing right now? Now, I'm going to go back. Braxton said something here. This is when I was talking about what they would do to the story, the Council of Nicaea, really quick. And they take all these different stories and all these different texts and whatever, and they combine them into a text. But they also take different religious practices and pull them together. Oh, we got Christmas, we got Saturnalia. Great, that's Christmas. Okay, we got Mithra. Cool, that's Jesus' birthday. Great. Oh, we need sacrifices. Cool. We got Easter. Oh, that's not enough? Cool. We got communion. We need stargazing. Great. The Bible specifically says that the God created the sun, the moon, and the stars and let them be for signs and for seasons. Genesis chapter 1. Cool. Covered. You see where I'm going with this? We need a little bit of idol worshiping. Cool, great. We'll take a constellation crux for Latin people. We'll take the constellation crux, which, by the way, if you don't believe me, because I used to stay in Missouri for a little while, and that's a show me state. Okay, I believe in showing people. Don't worry. I believe in showing people. Constellation crux. Right there, folks. There's the crux. It is a constellation in the night sky. It is not, repeat, not something somebody died on. In two places in Acts, two places in the Bible tells you that Yahshua did not die or was not punished on that. It was punished on a tree. And I'm done reading allegorically in the Bible. It's time to start reading it to what the hell it says. Starting with the fact that there was two gods in Genesis chapter 1 and Genesis chapter 2. Two creation stories, Genesis chapter 1 and Genesis chapter 2. Let's talk, family. We want a nation state where there's a religious state. Hey, Christians, let me ask you a question. Which denomination do you think is going to be the denomination that's going to be the leading denomination that's going to make all these laws? Christians? Because if you think it's going to be the Kojic one, the one where black people leading, got nothing coming for you. The Kojic one where black people lead pales in comparison as far as money-wise to the Roman Catholic Church. Hey, Christians, what day is the Sabbath day? Why are there 200 denominations in America? Why can't y'all all agree on the same thing? If I'm going to be subjugated to some sort of Christian nationalism, I would rather all of you Christians believe in the same thing and can agree on something, would you not? But instead, every year there's a new translation of the Bible. What y'all don't know is that I actually used to collect Bibles. I have a stack of them downstairs. And Bibles had red labels in them where it would say that Jesus said something. And one Bible had a text that said, Jesus said this chapter, this verse. But then this other Bible said that same verse, Jesus didn't say that. So you have translators, publicists who disagree about what the hell Jesus said. And we wonder why denominations and churches are confused. Well, hell, I'd be too. There's going to be an infighting between the denominations as to which one is actually going to be the leading authority, because Christians cannot agree upon what's Jesus' real name, when's his birthday, when's the Sabbath day, can women preach? Come on, somebody. Y'all agree on a few things. But wait a second. That is something in the heavens, is it not? Everybody, all 7 of you, nod your head. Mm-hmm. Now, what does the 10 Commandments say about making engraven images of things in the heavens? You probably shouldn't do that, right? Now, one thing I will say is that the only thing that a God specifically wrote down were the 10 Commandments. And I say a God because I don't think a sentient being that created everything has anything to be fucking jealous of. That sounds like a demigod to me. That sounds like a fallen one who basically came in and said, peasants, I'm going to control you. That same God was the God that basically sold the Hebrews to the other God just because he was mad at y'all. And he did it multiple times in the book of Judges. I think he said, and the Lord God was hot, was the exact words. And the name of that God was Jehovah. But he's Jehovah Nisi, Jehovah Rapha, Jehovah Shalom. Right? That's the same God that because some people were worshiping a damn golden calf, that's the same God that decided to, I don't know, sick, fiery, viperous serpents onto the people that he rescued from fucking Pharaoh and killed people. Same God, right? And then said, hey, by the way, Moses, hold up your staff, and everyone who looks upon this fiery serpent that's swarming on this staff will be healed. So look upon and praise and grovel upon the very fucking thing that bit you, and you will be healed. Ladies and gentlemen, that is where we get the caduceus from. I got knowledge for you for fucking days about that book. And yes, that is the book that the Anglo-Saxon people used to enslave us, no matter the type of slavery. Thank you, sir. No matter the type of slavery. I don't give a damn. They used whatever version of slavery, they used that to justify it. So no, I'm not interested in a bloodthirsty, take my religion or die type religion. Not interested. Islam is no better. It was possibly started by the Catholic Church. Too many symbolisms, too many similarities between the two. Nope. This is why I don't subscribe to any organized religion. It's organized by humans. Nope. No. Keep your religion to your fucking self. Keep it to yourself. And maybe you should understand just a little bit about where your stuff comes from. Because do you know who else was born on December 25th before Jesus Christ, which Jesus, hail Zeus, Mithras, Dionysus, Horus, Phrygia of Persia. There have been so many Jesuses throughout the millennia. Born on December 25th, died, rose, taken abode. Jesus was just the latest one. I'll give you another one for free before I do a whole series on how the Bible, the New Testament, was literally transliterated to be a complete story of the Flavian dynasty's war journey. I got a doozy for you. But before I go, I got another one for you. Here is a mistranslation. In the Bible, somewhere it says that Jesus said that he would be with you until the end of the world. That's a mistranslation. I will be with you until the end of the age. The eon was technically the word, but age. Okay. Let's go back to my passionate word that I mentioned when I stated, let's talk family. When I stated about the fiery, poisonous vipers that the good old Lord Jehovah sicked upon the worshiping people who are worshiping the golden bull. By the way, the 10 Commandments, by the way, speaking of that, 1, 2, 3, I think 3 of the 10 Commandments, maybe 4, but 3. I go back and read them. Most of them only go through and talk about what? Who you shouldn't worship, right? Man, he's really focused on who you shouldn't worship, right? But then down the line, I don't recall the 10 Commandments ever talking about who you shouldn't sleep with. Oh, besides the fact that a man shouldn't sleep with another man's wife. And maybe a wife shouldn't be adulterous. Okay. That's about it. Your sleeping habits and who you have sex with, not mentioned. It's mainly those who are coveted doing some uncovetous things. Just the point. Neither here nor there. Let's continue. I digress. So, they were worshiping a bull, correct? What is the bull in the constellation? Taurus. Now, the stars of constellations proceeds backwards in time every 2,000 years. 2,000 years times 12, you get 24. 24,000 years equals the great year. Okay? All right. So, Taurus. So, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus. Okay, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Sorry. Lost it. Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. Okay. So it's thought that some years prior, the sphinxes of Egypt were actually lions because they faced, well, everything on the sphinxes looked like a lion besides the heads. The heads look like they were carved differently. Okay. They look smaller. But if you were to reimagine a lion's head, it looks like a lion. Okay. But it's thought that they faced towards Leo. Okay. They found hieroglyphics that actually resemble lions, two lions facing each other, and one of them and facing towards Leo. If you were to rewind the stars a little bit, whatever, it faces towards Leo at the turn of the spring equinox and the summer solstice. Okay. So at the time of Moses, let's go forward, but backwards processionally, because we go forward in time, but the stars go backwards. So at the time of Moses, when we hear about Moses' time as the great judge in the Bible, what we hear oftentimes is the sacrificial lamb, the throwing of the ram's blood, the blowing of the ram's horn, right? And everything dealing with the ram. What is the ram in Somebody's Corner? What is the ram in the constellation? Aries. So Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries. What's right after Aries again? Taurus. What were they worshiping again? The bull. So what's happening here is that they were worshiping the idol of the wrong age at the time. Moses brought in the time of the age of the ram. Ram's blood, ram's horn, sacrificial ram, Abraham and the ram in the bush. For 2,000 years, everything was the ram. Now, bear in mind, the stories in the Bible move pretty quick. I'm telling you, 2,000 years happens pretty quick. Okay, so Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries. Now, all of a sudden, here comes Jesus. Now, Jesus was fisherman. Was good around water. Calmed the whole storm. Okay. His 12 disciples, they were great fishermen, sort of, until Jesus came in and helped them with the fish. But one of his greatest miracles he did was he fed the multitude with 2 loaves of bread and 2 what? Come on, somebody. 2 what? 2 fish. When people were hiding the fact that they were followers of Christ after his death or disappearance, they would draw a symbol in the sand to identify themselves as followers of the man who was able to feed the multitude with 2 loaves of bread and 2 fish by drawing an ichthus in the sand. So, ichthus, if I can spell it right, ichthus. I don't know if you guys know what an ichthus is, but I'm going to show you what an ichthus is. Oh, damn it. What is that? A fucking fish. What's a fish or 2 fish in the constellation? It's a Pisces. So Jesus said he'll be with you until the end of the age. Well, Moses was the ram. Jesus was Pisces. So if Jesus represents Christianity, then what's right after Pisces? Because 2,000 years is over with. What's next? Aquarius. And everybody's wondering why everything is so goddamn fluid now, because we're in the age of freaking Aquarius. And Christianity is really trying its best to fight and hold on. This is spoken for. This is spoken about. So what's next is someone to come around and represent the next age, which is Aquarius. Oh, wait, the Bible talks about that too. And there shall a man greet you, pouring a pitcher of water. God damn. Come on, somebody. Did I tell you I used to be Christian? I read too. I read it literally. And there shall a man greet you, pouring a pitcher of water. What is Aquarius? A man pouring a goddamn pitcher of water. Now, who is the man? Don't know. But I know it ain't Jesus. Here is another thought. I thought God was a jealous God. My word should not return to me void, right? So if God was a jealous God, worship no God before me, did it say worship no God before me until my son comes around and then all of a sudden you can worship him? Does that make sense to y'all? It's never made sense to me, even when I was a Christian. No. He has never wanted y'all to worship the created. I would never worship anything or anybody that had to come out of a woman's fill in the blank in the same way that I did. No. And in my book, Jesus was no more prolific than Noah, Moses, Methuselah, Enoch. Hell, Enoch never died. Fuck. Enoch possibly converted to freaking Metatron, the angelic scribe. He was, and then he wasn't because God took him. Shit. Or out of a man's spear. Okay, see? I'm just saying. It's some shit that don't make damn sense to me. And I'm not going to sit here and go down with the ship without somebody explaining some shit to me. I know what you mean. So yeah, I'm going to chew this all the way up until somebody has some goddamn common sense and says, you know what? Maybe me and my faith should just stay with me. And I'm fine with that because I'm never going to judge anybody for believing what they believe in. You tell me you're a Christian? Okay. Well, God bless you. I'm never going to be offended for someone saying they're going to pray for me. I really appreciate that. I really do. You think enough about me to pray for me. Okay, I appreciate that. My deepest, sincerest appreciation. But like a good neighbor, keep your religion over there. Do not try to bring it over here. Unless you want to have a theological conversation, then we can go for it. As you can see, I can go for hours talking about this shit. Gods have existed long before there was ever a Jehovah written. If you want to talk about Gilgamesh, then fine. If you want to talk about Samael, fine. If you want to talk about Kokhael, fine. Let's go. If you want to talk about Azazel, fine, because those names existed long before even the damn Younger Dryas. Fine. But don't come at me with ancient knowledge until you know about those names at the very least. If you don't even know that the Torah predates the freaking Bible, keep yourself over there. We cannot have a meaningful conversation. My thought process here is that when it comes to this and this Christian nationalism thing, don't ever tell me that I'm fear-mongering when I say that America is barreling towards a theocracy, because we most certainly are when there are people trying their best, trying their damnedest to tell people that we should have a one overruling religion, and then everybody else, as long as you acknowledge our religion, everybody else can do what they want to do. Bullshit. Do it our way or you don't belong here. That's what that means. And like I said, and I will close, that's how many theocracies we currently have as of 2024. Take a good look. The world was riddled with theocracies. I don't see too many left. Do you? Rome was powerful until it got full of itself, thinking that its Roman emperor was a god. People who do not believe in this mess, we need to gird ourselves. Okay, there are people in the world who seem to think that our country should be a Christian state. Hell, there are better religions than Christianity, at least. But I don't believe in any religion being the head of our state. Any religion. I don't give a damn if it's the white lotus. I do not care. No religion should be the head of our state. Let's talk, family. Let's talk. Everyone should be able to practice whatever religion they want. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. The idea that the standards that one religion has would be able to set a standard to be able to keep all of the non-common sense stuff from happening. Here's the bullshit. Okay? Here's the shit that I just don't understand. You could keep some of the bullshit out of. I agree, okay, that people identifying as whatever they want to identify as randomly and differently and whatever case may be, it can get a little frustrating. There are people within that community that seem to have a problem with it too. Totally understand, but they're fighting back too. I understand it. Totally get it. Gotcha. But religion isn't the answer. The answer is common sense. The answer is objectivity. not seclusiveness, not you're not part of our club, something's wrong with you, not that bullshit. Not some shit that you have to turn your brain into damn pretzels and go through years of indoctrination just to be able to understand, because there are people in the church for decades and can't explain the goddamn Trinity. Hey, what's up, Marcus? Good to see you. Decades. Hey, check this out. I was a teenager. Oh, no. Yeah, I was a young teenager. And I asked the deacon, who'd been there for years, youngster, God, Lord, and, talk like that. And I asked him a question. I said, Deacon, looked up at him, and I said, God said, let there be light, right? He said, yes. I said, okay. Well, he said, let there be light. Well, down a little further, he said he created the two great lights, or three great lights, the sun and moon and the stars, right? Well, yeah, guy, he did. By the way, you ever an actor? I did act in theater. Yes, I did. I said, okay, well then, here's my question. Yeah, young blood. Okay, good. So, if he created light in the beginning, but he created the sun, the moon, and the stars, and there was day and night then, and there was day and night at the beginning, but he created the sun, the moon, and the stars around verse 13, then what was the first light? Not a single damn Christian has been able to answer that question. And I'm still waiting. Mic drop. Nobody can answer that question. But salute to you, Marcus. What was the first light? And I'm going to start a series. I'm going to start a series about the religiosity conundrum. And it's all going to be all about religion. I'm about to eat this shit alive. Absolutely. I'm gonna peel it back like one of those Twizzlers, them segmented Twizzlers that you peel apart. Oh, yes. There's a 1900s version Bible that has something very interesting about who the actual identity of the Jesus in the Bible, anyway. Shocking. Yes, I am still called Youngblood, even though I'm definitely past 30. But yes, I'm still called Youngblood. But anyway, my whole point of all this, and again, I'm feeling better. I'm getting reinvigorated. Okay. I had some things in my heart. I had some tough decisions I need to make. My heart is heavy right now. I don't know if you guys can really tell. I'm not my light, bubbly self as of right now. My heart is heavy. And I don't know how I'm going to process a few things relative to some decisions that I need to make. But as of right now, I can tell you that I'm passionate about this. And I'm passionate about relationships. I'm passionate about issues within society and looking at it through an objective lens. You guys saw that Mr. Bennett came in and he provided me a bit of information, and it reminded me about something else that it gave me a data dump of something that I learned that I'd forgotten about. And so to Mr. Bennett, I appreciate you for reminding me about the connection between Islam and Catholicism. Appreciate it. We should be able to have these kinds of conversations without it being contentious. And I know I seem angry, and there is a little anger there. I'm not going to lie to you. Hey, Lost. Good to see you. We should be able to have these kind of conversations without contention. And though my heart is heavy right now because of some things that's going on in the brain right now, and what's going on in my own person, I am passionate about this shit, about what's coming our direction, what I perceive to be coming our direction, about our society. Do I perceive problems in our society that I think order should be able to fix? Yes. Have we lost our fucking minds in areas? You bet your ass we have. But do I think religion fixes all of that? No, because religion has lost its fucking mind too. It most definitely has. And I'm not talking about the belief. I'm talking about the religion. Because there is a difference between saying that you should love thy brother like you would love yourself, or do unto others as you would have them do unto you. These type of principles like that, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's church folk type shit. The opinion of a book that says that this is the gospel according to, written by someone who heard it from someone, according to somebody, translated 50 million fucking times. And it was a letter to a church where someone is admonishing a church based on their opinion about what they perceive God would be angry with them based on their performance on what they're doing in their fucking church. If that don't sound like some church folk type shit, and it's all cloaked by saying it was inspired by God, that ain't no fucking different than me coming to you and say, you know what God told me to tell you, baby? Well, if God wanted me to fucking know it, he'd have told me his damn self. Get the hell on, Bertha. Hey, what about that Apocrypha books? Yes, sir. And also, the Bible is an incomplete book. Anything that wasn't included in or taken out was put in a separate book called Apocrypha. Absolutely. Well, the Apocrypha books were here. I got what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yes. God is older than the letter J. We just discovered it along the way. Yes. Wait, what was it? As the Bible was only really meant for 12 or 13 tribes of Israel. And the FPAs, it still flows with contradiction and redundancy. Yes. So with that in mind, I'm going to break this down And I'm going to show you guys some things that I found along the way, along the years. I'm going to do my best. It's going to start some interesting conversations. But I don't subscribe to having anyone telling me what I should believe in or any of that shit. And I would prefer to have our government neutral of some shit. Otherwise, wouldn't that be the opposite of small government Republicans? It's amazing to me that Republicans want to have small government everywhere else, but it wants big government in other areas. Sounds like different parties, both Democrats and Republicans, want to have big government, small government, and little government, small government, big government, but in certain areas. And that's its interpretation of big and small government. I call bullshit. You want government to look the way you want it to look. And it seems like certain sides want it to be more religious than others. I will vote against that 100% any day that ends in Y or W. Because otherwise, and I'll end with this, we will look like this. 5 damn countries are in existence that are theocratic. I'm just saying. Damn it. And again, 200 damn denominations in America. Which denomination is going to rule it? Which denomination is going to win? I would love to see the debate, and Geno Jennings is going to be leading that debate of which day is a Sabbath day with all 200 denominations. Yeah, that's going to be fun. When somebody realizes that Roman Catholicism is going to be the leading damn body in this nation before anybody realizes it. Why? Because Roman Catholic Church got all the damn money. We're already under the thumb of the Roman Catholic Church. If you know, you know. At any rate, oh, here we go. Buddhism, Celtic, Hinduism are my top favorites. Well, sorry, Braxton, to tell you, they don't give a shit. They want their crucifix fillet and they want their crux now. Listen, I'm telling you, this is what they want right here. They want their cross. They don't want Buddha. Yeah, they want the cross. The cross that is a constellation in the sky in actuality. The idol worshiping in all actuality. So, at any rate, it's been a pleasure. I have relinquished a little bit of what's on my heart and what's on my soul. All right, family. That's what I mean when I say let's talk, family. Let me tell you something. If I have another show and I say let's talk, family, y'all know it's gonna be some shit. Okay. All right. Just understand that it's gonna be some politics mixed in there. It's gonna be some religion mixed in there. It's gonna be some shit that I've heard, and I'm just like, okay, let's talk. Okay. Okay. West Coast is on fire. East Coast is fucking it's goddamn burning, maybe freezing and shit. Okay. Oh, and by the way, I go away for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden, Agent Orange is talking about making Canada the goddamn 51st fucking state and shit. What the fuck? Hey, before I go, I have a theory. Okay. Hear it here right now. Clock it. Okay. Clock this. This man does not want to leave office. He will not want to leave office. The first term, he was the peaceful president, the president that did not want to have war. And he's right. He was not about starting any wars. But this time, he wants war all over. Imagine using military force for fucking Panama Canal. What the fuck? Ain't nobody talked about the fucking Panama Canal in years. What the fuck for? Right? Check it. Really quick. Russia decided to threaten the United States 2 years ago with sending a nuke to us if Ukraine went over to NATO, was accepted into NATO. So all the other countries is like, nope, you can't come to NATO. You can't come to NATO, right? You can't come to NATO, right? Now, watch this. Trump says, Canada, you can become a governor, right? Now you're thinking, what the fuck does that got to do with price tea in China, boss man? Watch this. The reason why Russia didn't want that is because it would be a NATO connected country bordering Russia. Well, who the fuck does Canada border? Come on, put it together. So that's 2 instances of war. Give you a third one. He declares a national emergency to get rid of all the vermin, the illegal aliens, right? By declaring war via the Illegal Aliens Act. Declare a national emergency, deploy the military, which he already can do because of what Biden enacted during his presidency. Thanks, Biden. Okay? If you know, you know. If you don't, oh well, read it. Okay? Where the whole entire DOD can be enacted on American citizens. Now, it doesn't explicitly say Department of Defense military, but the military is under the Department of Defense. So if you don't, because it doesn't say it, sometimes you have to look for what it doesn't say inside of statutes. Black man, what's going on? Sometimes you have to look for what things doesn't say in regulation and in policy. Salute, sir. Sometimes. Okay? So 3 instances. In these 3 instances, well, at least 2, but in 3 instances, a president can be, good to see you. I'm feeling better. In these 3 instances, a president can be enshrined. Where a 5-star general, based on the level of war, a 5-star general can be installed. And in that instance, Congress just becomes fucking parliament. It happened in World War I and II. Just saying. No. I think it's 1, not 2. 1. Whew. Imagine if we were to get into a war with Russia. Whew. That'd be large. That'd be huge. That'd be huge war. So huge. That would be a situation where you could justify the situation where a president, it'd be important for there to be a uniformed president to stay in office. And the people would support that shit. I'm going to tell you right now. You wouldn't want an election to go on in the middle of a war with Russia. You wouldn't want a election to happen in the middle of a war between Mexico fucking Canada. Oh, and by the way, Canada, do you know who still owns Canada? Come on. Somebody answer the fucking question. Who still owns Canada? Come on, we declared independence from this motherfucker. Come on. I'm in rare form tonight. Come on. I'll wait. Somebody's going to answer this question. The goddamn crown. So imagine we go and we say, hey, Canada's letter after A ends with itch. That's fine. I don't care about a body of water, BMU. Who you going to talk to? A cartographer? I don't give a shit. We're going to go talk to Canada, who is still owned by England's crown, and say what? You want to be a governor, right? Well, it's still owned by the crown, who we still bow our head to, by the way. And our scepter in the House of Representatives is still in the House of Representatives in order for us to do our legislation, by the way. At any rate, so we're going to go back to fucking war with England. Is that what we're doing? And puts us in border territory next to Russia, which then puts us a NATO member right next to Russia, which is the very thing that Russia said that if a NATO country borders my country, I'm going to bomb America. Which would be a good, fabulous reason for a man who said that if you vote for me, don't worry about the votes, but we got the votes. But vote for me. We don't need your votes. We don't need your votes. I have your votes. But vote for me. You don't have to vote again. The first time, no wars. But now all of a sudden, we want to use military force for everything. And the last time you motherfuckers told me that I was fear-mongering, I was wrong. Now I'm absolutely fucking right. So don't tell me that I'm wrong about this one. So clock it here. 23:56 on 1/15/2025. This is my fucking prediction. I ain't heard this on news. I've been disconnected from news. I ain't even have no fucking material for the night. I said, family, let's talk. And I've been talking my shit all night. I ain't heard this. I have not heard this prediction nowhere else. This is literally what I think. My prediction. Clock it. Now, will he succeed? I don't know. But he damn sure will try, because he can't try the January 6th thing anymore. That's too obvious now. Supreme Court of Arizona still looking at that shit. Okay? Because you can stop the federal government, but you can't stop a state government unless some people become removed, unheartbeated. Just saying. Anyway, it's been fun. Okay? Good to be back. All right. Like I said, my heart's heavy on some things, but in the moment, it's good to be back. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for stopping by. And hey, think objectively. All right. Think a little deeper. Think harder. Okay. Think objectively. And whatever you come up with, hey, stand on that shit. Okay. Good night, everybody. See you next time.